I'm Rich.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Charles.
And
we are Midnite Hellion.
And you're listening to John the Ninja.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's John the Ninja live in the dojo, aka the Dojang, aka the John the Ninja Studios. You notice, man, and I can't find my sword, but that's neither here nor there today. I got a band that I got excitement for these bands. I love this music. I've been in this music. I breathe this music, but this is the only band I could say I have tried out for. Now, don't be too judgmental. I didn't get the gig. It was different times. I'm a better player now, but more importantly, the music that they have not only resonates with me, but it's moving forward, and they are becoming a force, and not just metal, but thrash and rock in general. Ladies and gentlemen, the band I have with me right now is Midnite Hellion. Let me give you a little bit of a detour of what they did, where they're from, and how they came to be. They started in Trenton 2011 by drummer Drew Rizzo, and then they took more shape when Rick Kubik, their bassist and lead singer, joined in 2016. And then topping it off with Charles the Keg of Beer, I think it was Kegler, sorry family, guitarist, joined in 2019. And I absolutely love their debut record, Condemned to Hell, with songs like Cross the Line, Enter the Nightmare, and my favorite song, which I have proclaimed over and over again in other interviews in other nations, states, Fever. The band released to rave reviews, and I can tell you the press was superb. They released their brand new effort, Kingdomimmortal, January 21st in 2022, with a very prominent producer. His name is Alex Perialas. See, I almost messed it up. It was so difficult. But bands like Anthrax, SOD, Overkill, Testament, and he's even worked with John Bonamassa. So much range and scope. And this album has flown to the top of the metal charts, hitting number 8, along with other bands like Undeath and, oh my goodness, I didn't even notice this one, Arch Enemy and Meshuggah. Guys, I could tell you this. Their single Phantom Lord has reached over 18K on YouTube, and they've been touring all over. But most importantly, they're touring with Anvil, coming to my hometown, the Landis Theater in Vineland, New Jersey. Guys, it's a pleasure. Welcome to the dojo, Midnite Hellion.
Thanks so much. It's great to see you again, man. Honestly, it is great to see you again.
But guys, first and foremost, I got to say this because I promised them. Pathos and Logos say hello. They were ecstatic when they found out I knew you guys. And I was that's crazy. And more importantly, I want to let people know, because I've mentioned this to you guys. I haven't told too many people, but during the pandemic, one of my mentors at the radio station passed away. And he was a big rock guy. All these bands all over. Everyone's sending out. We're talking famous musicians. And we wanted to get together and do a tribute show. Edit clips that he was a part of, times he had, and then have bands play, some of the covers of the bands he really loves, Slayer, Metallica. And you guys were at the forefront. You were the first band to sign on, no questions. I sent that email, and literally maybe 30 minutes later, it's like, we got you, bro, whatever. So again, even though it didn't pan out, we never did get the family's blessing, I sincerely wanted to thank you for that. That meant the world to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
If anything does happen in the future, we're still game. 100%.
You got it.
And guys, let's hop into this. Kingdomimmortal. This album is, by comparison to me, like the last album, it kicked my ass. Charles, we're going to talk. We definitely going to talk guitar-wise. For those who don't know your music, what I loved about it was thrashy. It was fast. And even when it slowed down, it still had that heavy grandeur. Condemned to Hell was great, but Kingdomimmortal, you guys said it was more organic. You guys were all in studio at the same time. It wasn't crazy going back and forth, but what I got from it was slower is heavier. And that's not saying all songs are really super slow, but I felt that this time. So walk me through like the writing of like, hey man, let's tone it down and let's see what we got here.
Just wrote from the heart, to be quite honest. And what came out, came out.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff that we actually had demoed out through the writing sessions that didn't actually make the cut for Kingdomimmortal, but definitely will be included for the next record, because basically it was like, okay, what ideas are really jiving right now? What's really happening, And then this is what came out, these 8 cuts, and this was what was really making it go through. Writing-wise, it's now we're involving Charles with it. It's always been before me and Rich would get together with some guitars only, no bass, no drums, just to get together in the studio, have a couple of drinks, and just
jam out.
Yeah, just pretty much bounce ideas off of each other. Sometimes we come in with some ideas. Sometimes we literally come in, plug in, turn on the amplifiers, and play just whatever came out naturally, and just go from there. Record the whole thing. I bring the whole thing home, start putting things in a Guitar Pro, start arranging things, and then we would demo with the drums and bass respectively, and guitar as well, and just go forward with there. We've already started Charles in with the process as well with it, so far so great. And next record is already getting pretty close, to be quite honest.
We've got hundreds of
lots of ideas.
things
Lots of ideas are
already in
happening.
the kitty, but like
Right now, the focus is on Kingdom Immortal to be able to tour on it, get some legs on this record, and bring it to the masses 100%. But there's definitely plans for album number 3 coming out very soon.
Yeah, and like to add on to what Drew said with the us bringing in some ideas and coming out with stuff. Drew brought in like the entirety of HMO, and I brought in 90% of Speed Demon. He did we came up with I think it was like one.
Oh no, that was In Sickness.
Oh yeah, In Sickness. Yes, In Sickness. I came in with the lyrics for Speed Demon.
Yes.
Yeah. But In Sickness, I came in with it. It was like, it's a little short. Let's just add 2 more passes.
Yeah, it was a nice
and it worked.
Like,
it worked.
It was cool. The arrangement was already done. It sounded good. It had a good vibe to it. Everything was rocking.
Drew, this is a good one. So how did your fiance end up starting to write lyrics with you guys? Because now it's really a family effort. She's hopping in. It's like, oh, this reminds me of you. Let me write this down for you and sing it. How did she come to like, hey, Drew, I got something here for you?
Basically, to be blunt about it, when we're looking at the older albums and the older compositions, she's like, you guys are a little too wordy at times. Sometimes you need to get to the point with some of these songs. And I wasn't really sure how that was cutting off. And Rich and I would just go in through the writing sessions for Kingdom Immortal as well. And when we went through it, she's like, this is too long. There's too many words here. Need to get to the point a little bit better. And then she just helped us trim it down. And then some of the songs, like, okay, we have no ideas. Like, all right, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to take it over, blah, 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 go from there, see if you guys like it, and keep going. Like, She Demon, she did 100%, and Sickness and Hell was hers 100% lyrically. Army of the Dead came up with the original different concept with it, and she just ran with it with the Game of Thrones thing. Her and I had gotten together the day before we went to go see the Rolling Stones, which was the night before we were leaving for Ithaca. So 2 days before we left for Ithaca, we're sitting there finalizing all the compositions and all that good stuff. And it's like, we had this deadline, 5 p.m. We have to be out of the house because we need to go over to Giant Stadium to see Keith and Nick, So we got done, literally woke up that morning, everything came out pen to paper.
So let's go over that track listing real quick for Kingdom Immortal. We got HMO, She Demon, Phantom Lord, Rapscallion, which was, I ain't gonna lie, the drums were good on that, man. I love you drumming too. Speed Demon, Resurrected, Army of the Dead, but I gotta go back to my favorite. And I know a lot of other interviewers have said this too, In Sickness and in Hell. Drew, you let our man Rick come in, he brought the music, and now I'm gonna go to you, Rick. What was it that was so important about that bend? So you had the music, you were writing it, you did. No, I'm serious, because being that I have played with you guys, and I got to talk to Charles. Oh man, we're gonna have a long discussion.
What's up, dude?
That it is important to have the music that is written done right. What was it about the construction that you felt that bend was so necessary? And then you guys were like, just put it on bass. Because I think the thing that attracted me to it mostly was it's starting off with bass, and then we rush into this is our style song. So walk me through not just the nitty gritty, but the reason it was like, hey, this is why this works.
It was entirely feel, man. So originally, when I wrote all that, I was just, noodling around on a guitar. I think it actually started with me messing up something, and then going into, oh wait, this works. Okay. And then wait, what works with this? Oh, well, this is in the same, this sounds similar. Okay. And then when I hit that bend the first time, I'm like, ooh, it was literally like, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And then, we went to the studio, and it was that bend, specifically that bend. It was like, oh, we got to hit it. We got to hit it. I might just have to get the guitar and do it. And then I think it was Drew and Alex and Drew both said at the same time, just get a bass out.
I was even in pre-pro a little bit further back with that.
Just you might need to do the bass.
You're still like thinking about it when we went up the house. Like, dude, just do it.
Yeah,
Just do it. You're fine.
Yeah,
you got
and
the
then-
feel, you got the bend with it. Let's just make this happen because it makes it a little bit more tasty.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's kind of visceral feeling. Like I you know that word's used a lot, but it gets into your chest, it gets into your soul, and you're just like, oh yeah. And then with the
And
bass
wait till
too,
you
and
hear
that,
it live.
oh yeah, that's
Right.
A little bit of a spoiler, but
That's good because I was going to bring that up, but now this is the moment of truth for me. Charles, come on over, family. I'm not saying this. Oh, you actually got him in the middle. All right, bet. I'm not saying this maliciously. I'm not attacking you. I don't mean no hard feelings, but you got the gig I wanted. And having played with these gentlemen, the type of player I am, I'm flashy. I don't, if I miss a note, oh, okay, I'm having a lot of fun, do whatever. But when I walked into that particular audition, it had to be tight. It had to be exactly what was written. And I'm sitting here like, damn, I kind of wrote it as a second guitarist. I didn't think I had to know everything. So when you came to actually go, what do you feel you brought? What about your chops makes you feel like, you know what, I'm the fit for this band and this is my rightful spot? And you can be arrogant about it. Please do.
Well, listen, you don't have to push me into that at all. No, let me tell you seriously. It's like, just as well as I do that these are complicated songs. Some of the things in the song sounds very simple, but then when you really get into playing it, to try to lock it in, these are two very tight musicians right here. So it's like to try to lock in with them, you got to make sure you bring it 100%. I think the thing that I bring the most, like, okay, I know I like being flashy too, but the big thing that I think I bring is like, okay, what does the song need? Like, what can I do to enhance the song? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm just going to lay the concrete and play the riff like 100% to the record, that's going to be the thing I need to do, then that's what I'm going to do. If, there's a part where I can improvise, then maybe I will. But the most important thing to me is to recreate the song as faithfully as possible. So I have to, the framework is already there for me to work within. So in terms of what my playing would bring to these guys, I think that's the best thing that I could bring is like consistency. It's like, okay, I'm going to play, pretty much the same thing every time. And so that playing the same thing every time gives you that kind of tightness that it's like, you can just be used to each other. It's like, there's no, like, oh, hey, what the hell was that? It's like, no, it's like, I'm pretty much doing what I'm going to do.
Drew, I would pose this to you and Rick, because I remember during my audition, I had a little hiccup, but as a musician, you guys know, if you mess up anything, you're like, oh my, it's the worst feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And having gone back, watching your performances, especially at the inception of Midnite Hellion, before any of the guys were here, there were a couple of songs, like one particularly, I remember you did the best catch of the hat. You hit the cymbal, the guitarist looked, and you went pop, pop, and then he got it, and then you kept it going. And nobody would have noticed it if we didn't know the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what Charles brought when you guys had him. Was it a moment like every other great rock star? It's like, oh my God, we need him. He's it. Or was it like, hey, let's feel him out a little more? That was fun. Like kind of like when Metallica got Robert Trio. It's like, yo, let's feel this out. Or was it like Ozzy with Randy? It's like, oh shit, you.
Well, to be quite honest, it's a combination of it all. Because we felt, actually, Charles and I have known each other for probably close to a decade before he had auditioned, just because of different bands that we've been in, had run the same course, different shows, blah, 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 some mutual friends. And he just came in and said, okay, this is feeling good. It's feeling nice. This is going to be something that's cool. Let's see where he wants to go with this. Because time was ticking. We had the Ethica recording going up, too. And it's like, okay, is this something he wants to do pursuing wise, or is it something that maybe just like, okay, just the record and then we'll go from there? It's like, and we just had to feel him out in terms of what his commitment was to how we would go. Because honestly, when I found Rich, it was like, okay, I found the partner right there that I knew 100%. We're going the distance. Everything's good. Let's see how it's going to be with Charles, because no disrespect or discredit to anybody that's ever played in the band before or any musician I've ever worked with. Some people want to do it for a living. Some people want to do it more for a hobby. And some people want to do like a combination. So we just need to make sure that we had a like-minded person that was on the same wavelength as us. And we did find that in Charles, in the sense where it's okay, well, obviously in a couple of days we're going on tour. So there we go.
And it's super rough because having done, especially the recent interviews I've just done with all these people, you see like so many of them. It's like, yeah, man, I had the time when to quit my job, and I was like, that sounds like a wonderful idea. But then I think of the place where I'm at in Jersey, and I know a lot of single mothers and dads working, trying to make sure their kids are taken care of, and something like that. Pulling a Sammy Hagar is like, or even a Robert, not Robert Daltrey. What's Daltrey's name from the Who? Pulling one of those like. Pulling like, hey, I'm leaving for my kids, especially today's society, it's so much more difficult. So there's a lot of respect in that. Guys, I want to go back. You guys were working with Alex. It never ceases to amaze me, the people that know you and then the people that pop out of nowhere that you know. And I'm like, what the, no, I need to hang out with you guys more.
Absolutely. We're hop, skip, and jump away.
So here's the thing. Alex made a statement. He said, we're making history here, guys. For him to say such a thing with all the prominent artists he's worked with, that really is, even before you release it, like, hell, that's a morale booster. So what's your relationship with Alex? How did you meet him? And do you have any more details on when he said that? He's like, hey, guys, we're making history right here. Did he give you an explanation of why, other than just, hey, we got some good music? He's like, no, you don't understand. Sit down. This is what's happening. Could you walk me through that statement? Because I found that so fascinating. I never hear that anymore from anybody, even when you know you have something nice.
To be quite honest, when we heard that statement, we were just kind of jaws dropped, but trying to make it not shown that we were dropping our jaws.
Like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to remember what song it was on. It might have been when we were doing the rhythm tracking for the guitars at that point.
No.
Or was it a little bit later?
That was during the vocal take of Resurrected.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we're listening to the playback. Yes,
we were listening to the
So I
playback.
remember I was standing in my spot by the Neve.
Yep.
On the console over there. But yes, in terms of hooking up with Alex, I had gotten in touch with him. It's always been a dream of mine to work with him because always been a fan of all of his work and just his production with all the records he's done. Just like that's really what it came down to. Like basically back with my fiance Teresa and I, like we were just sitting there like, okay, who do we want to work with on this record? And Rich and I had talked about this too. And this is prior to Charles's time, so I'm sorry, Charles. Well, yes,
about 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, so we're just sitting there like, okay, who do we want to work with on this record to capture the sound? And everything always came back to any record that Alex worked on. It's like, this sounds great. The Speak English or Die record. It's like sonically, it was recorded in 3 days. 2 days mixed in 2. Recording 3, mixed in 2. And it's like sonically, it's phenomenal. It's one of the best things ever put to tape, in my opinion. It's like the March of the SOD, Sergeant D and the SOD intro riff is literally the heaviest riff ever put on tape. And we actually were fortunate enough to use the same amplifiers that were used on that recording, as well as some of the other ones too that he's worked on. But just in general, it was the vibe, it was the sound, it was everything, and we needed to make it work. And so reached out to him, was like, hey, we'd love to work with you on this record. Love your stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he had the availability to do it. And okay, well, 3 months, we'll see you. And that was that. We actually still talk about once a week, give or take, schedules permitting. So we've remained friends. And that's actually probably the greatest outcome of this entire experience is we became friends with him. And that was really cool.
And everybody up there, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
just great. They're great people.
Yeah,
up there.
it was a great community.
And that's, I know what you mean when you get to meet somebody with such high, oh my God, it's like they're in a different aura. They're human, but they're here. And now you're friends, and it's great. So walk me through, because you said cassette. A lot of people don't know this is actually on tape. It's not just digital. And you guys got it for vinyl, cassette, CD, but there's the test. There is that test to say, hey, is this done? And what you like to do, guys, is you like to listen to it in the car, which I do most of the time anyway. I'll sit in the car. I won't go inside. I'm like, I'm chilling. Like if you were in your room at 15 with the vinyl. So what about being in the car? What about that test makes you feel like, hey, you know what? I'm hearing something I probably wouldn't have gotten. Walk me through what you feel you can dissect better in a car than you can in studio. And is that car recording CD, vinyl? That was stupid.
Car record players, they do.
They do. All right. So for me, I actually go multiple formats, multiple actually places, like not even just my car. I've got this gaming headset, the HyperX Cloud 2. phenomenal headset sound. Like the way that it produces audio for your ears, yeah. The way the spatial thing for that headset makes me hear stuff that I wouldn't even hear in a car. So I'll listen to it through those. I'll listen to it through my car. I'll listen to it through CD, aux cable, even a cassette if I have a cassette player. Luckily, my highlighter has a cassette player. So for me, it's just as many formats as I can hear it on, I'll listen to.
I agree with Rich 100%. I'm the same way, where I definitely do multiple tests, like different sets of headphones, whether it be earphones, regular cones,
and
or
phone
fans, rather.
speaker.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yeah, phone speaker. Just everything, regular stereo system. But the car itself, something about it, and I actually have a little secret thing where I put it at a different for the treble and the bass and also the volume. We can hear things that are a little different, but it's also the reverberation of the way the sound bounces off of all the panels in the car. You can hear different little nuances, this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of great records out there were made to be mixed on the stereo speakers for a car. So that you would actually want to crank it up. So it's always a test with it too. It's like, okay, is this something that I'm hearing at like volume, let's say 10 out of 60, for example? Say, okay, does this make me want to crank it up louder, or am I okay to hear it here? And either way, still, if you can hear everything 100% at the lower volume, that's what's key. And it's like, because once you crank it up, everything's even.
Charles, there's so little given about you in the PR, and that's on purpose because you're still the mysterious figure. Again, man, that look of just, I got this. Give me the damn guitar so I can burn things down. What were you critical about for this record? What was the moments you were like, I got to redo that or something else? And then, hell, even the guys were like, bro, it's fine. And you trust us, it's good. Or certain things you were overthinking. Was this your first time recording to this level with this not saying this group, but with this magnitude of what's coming up? Or was this kind of like, I've been here before, let's hunker down?
This was the first time on that scale that I was recording something. I wasn't completely new to recording process in general. But I think the biggest thing is that I only joined the band like right before we were going to go record the record. So a lot of the stuff was still new to me. So I had to at first I was super nervous because I'm like, okay, I don't really even know these songs super well, and I got to go in there and knock it out. But then, so it took a little while, but then once I had my footing up there, it took a little bit of trial and error. Once I had my footing, I think then it was like, okay, I can do this, And once I had that confidence, then I was able to really go in there and really smash it out the way that we needed for the songs.
I think Charles did extremely well on that, considering how new he was to the songs and the group and everything too. I mean, from soup to nuts, from the initial drum tracking to the vocals, everything was done in 6 days. Like, that's insane. I agree. Yes, we were working
7 for the second day because my voice gave out. But
no, it's still 6 for that because in terms of the time for the break.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it's literally just in there for that. So literally we were just in for 6 days for that, and everything was ready to rock and roll. But we were working from at least 10 a.m. till sometimes even like 2, 3 in the morning. So sometimes I weren't like, okay, yeah, 2-hour days or anything like that. No.
No, none of that.
So with the album out now, you guys, and let's say it again, from my mouth to God's ears, even though, I'm still a heathen. I love you, Jesus. So you guys really want to tour behind this because you have a base overseas. That's the lifeblood for our music now, especially rock and metal overseas, Europe, Japan, all those other countries. Being that you haven't been able to test the songs live, how did you go about picking the set list this time around? Because at least with your first album, those songs, they've been through the ringer. You know what worked. You know what didn't work. You know what you could do. Now you're on a platform where it's like you just have people saying, oh, that's great. Where do you sit down and go, okay, I really think this should be the set, and these are the songs we're going to present off the new album so they come and get it? Walk me through that process, and if there's any pressure. I feel like you guys are kind of like, we're bitching. We got Alex to say this is a great album. Whatever we do off this is going to work. But again, it's a group. It's a political, hey, let's have a democracy. Let's figure this out. So walk me through how you guys choose the set list and what's coming up this particular tour.
No, basically sit down. We just shoot out the ideas and see where a lot of the ideas are similar with. So, like for example, HMO, we were saying, okay, we were all unanimous. Like, okay, that's a good set opener. And I'm giving away a secret right there, but you'll find out in a few days. But regardless of that, like what we end up doing is we come up with a set list and a set duration, and we just record it and we play it as if we're playing live in the rehearsal room. So we go through the whole 9 yards of it, and then once it's recorded, circulate it out, listen at home, and then see, like, okay, you know what, this felt good, this felt a little weird here. Maybe we could swap these songs, and we just keep drilling it down until we find something that feels right.
Yeah, I mean, there's two songs that ended up actually getting swapped position wise in this, just because of it's like that really does not feel right. Like let's put this after that song, and then it'll work better.
Yep.
And then we do it, and it's like it's still a little awkward. Okay, let's move it a little further back in the set, and then we did that, and now the set's the way that it is.
Yep.
But in terms of older stuff, like as you said, we've run it through the ringer. We know what is great off of Condemned to Hell. We know, yeah, obviously. But we know what, like, live, the best stuff off of Condemned to Hell. So, let's put those songs in. And then, okay, how much time do we have left? Okay, we got 7 minutes. Well, let's do 2 of these songs. Okay, all right. And then we'll go from there. It's like, I think the original set actually ran over by a few minutes, and then we just cut out a song and put 2 in instead.
So it has been a trial and error too, because this really is a showcase tour for this album. However, on the other side of the coin, it's like, yes, we are revisiting some repeat markets that we've already been to in the past, but there's plenty of markets we've never been to before. So in a lot of cases, this is just an introduction to Midnite Hellion to all the people around the United States.
Yep.
So, like, for example, we've been to Denver before. We've never been to California. So the California shows are going to be completely different, while Denver's, okay, you know what? There's some stuff that's a little familiar from last time we were there, but here's some brand new songs for you, too.
Charles, for you, you've performed with the guys, so this isn't new, but what is your favorite Midnite Hellion song to perform? I don't know what it is about favorite. I'm going to praise that song to the end of days. That is just it has got the greatest riff, and it picks up perfectly, it slows down perfectly. That's mine. What is your favorite Midnite Hellion song to perform, and what about it makes you feel like this is why I'm here?
I'm totally co-signing with The Fever, by the way, because The Fever is solid as a rock. I'm gonna say off the new record, I'm gonna say I hope this isn't another spoiler. Maybe you should come see us. Maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. Who knows? But Phantomland is one that I really, because that's one that it's a difficult song, but when we get it right, it feels so good. So it's like that's the one where it's like, okay, that's one of my more favorite songs to play, just because it's like it's difficult and it's super heavy, and it gets, you can get everybody in on it. I think that's going to be a big hit, or maybe not. Who knows if it's in the set? Maybe you should come see us and find out.
This Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, in Violent, New Jersey. So let me go through this. Your PR is amazing as in terms of releasing these statements. All right, not everybody knows about the PR statements. You got to send people, record companies, etc., send out emails, and here's the press release. At all the ones I read, you guys are straight to the point. It has exactly what I need to prep for an interview. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I nicked most of yours for my intro, so that was pretty smooth.
Thank you.
But, it's something to say when you have good PR, you have good backing, but going on tour has always been political. The money, who you know, and it can be very cutthroat. How did touring with Anvil come about? And what are some of the rules that you were given? Not even just from Anvil, like, hey, don't do this when we're on stage, but hey, guys, this is the parameters. This is the punch list. Follow it. What is happening? How did that come up? And what's expected of you is probably a better word.
Well, basically, we were inquiring about playing the Landis show. We were all for the entire tour. They were their agent, so we were able to do it with our time schedules and everything, with work and all that good stuff. So that was basically how we got the tour. In terms of parameters, it's really down to a lot remains to be seen because the tour is going to be starting in a couple of days. But as far as we know, we've got a half-hour set. We're going on around 8:15, give or take, every night.
A few shows earlier, a few shows later.
Yeah, and as far as we know, it's just going to be a rocking good time. We've been on some tours before that's had more stricter rules and everything, which have actually been completely beneficial.
Yeah.
And we understand why some of these rules are in place, such as one band we had toured with said no one can drink during the tour.
Sober tours.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? That actually was a great thing because number one, it saves us money. And number two, which is actually more important than that, it keeps everyone's wits about them. So it's like, okay, yeah, you know, if you really want to have a drink, wait till you go back to the hotel at the end of the night, have a beer there, and crash out and relax. But if you're trying to run merchandise and you're drinking there, it's not going to necessarily go in your favor. So that's what I mean. There's a lot of different things where the rules are there for a reason and based on experience. So I'm not really certain of anything else that's happening with regards to the Anvil tour, but as far as we know, everything's just going to be let's rock and roll. And that's what we're going to do.
So what about the legal aspects of it now? Because I'm curious. I know I'm diving deep into it. I don't know how much you can and cannot say because of the contract. But what are some of the things like? Hey, is this your allowance? Do you get paid every show? Are you getting paid up front? Is there like, hey, you're on your own for food? Are you allowed in the dressing room? I really want to dive into this because for newer bands, they really never talk about the experience.
Basically, long and short of it is we aren't getting paid for the shows themselves, but we are able to sell merchandise and we're able to collect all the profits from there, no problem. Yeah. So there's really not too much with regards to that. Like we don't have any rider, so we're on our own for food. As far as we know, we're on our own for water. Sometimes venues do offer us water. Sometimes once in a while they offer like a sixer or something like that. But it's pretty much we are paying our own way. Like there are some cases where a bus would be provided, for example, but it depends on each band and everything like that, like location and all that. Sometimes they do have gear sharing. This case we're not, which is actually works in our favor because of our setup. And I know Anvil has a really strict setup too, which is actually kind of similar, which is funny. So it's cool because we're going to be able to hear everything of A&Bing it with our band and their band and White Wizard too, for that matter. Yeah, I'll plug them. And from what I can see from what White Wizard is doing, they are doing a lot of good kicking with this. So looking forward to seeing them, both of them. I mean, I've seen Anvil at least a dozen times already.
Show on vocals.
Yeah. White Wizard seen a few times before in the past too, so it's going to be fun to tour with both of them and see what they deliver to the stage.
So this is the last question as far as like doing it the old school way, because you guys, a lot of people, and you guys were the first band to really put it in perspective for me. You guys have good jobs, or at least had good jobs. Pandemic, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. We'll stick with that. But at the time, like, I'm not going to reveal what was told to me, what you guys do for a living. But Rick, I looked at you, I was like, what the fuck? I pump gas, bro. What you're doing? What? What? Oh, you know what? Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I need a real good job first and then quit that. So, you know, it was really, you know, it's like it was more of a culture shock because you're used to people being broke all the time, and then like to hear you guys having normal day jobs. You know, is there still like, hey, boss, I'm quitting? Do the job still understand, like, hey, this is what I wanted to do, here's your leeway, get this done on the road as long as you're out there? Like, how accepting or non-accepting were the jobs when you said, hey, we're going on tour last minute, wish us luck?
Leave of absences and vacation time.
Yeah. And well, for me it was it's going to be interesting because they ended up actually new scheduling person came in and completely forgot that I'm on an LOA. So I'm going to have to make a few phone calls tomorrow because I just got a schedule update and I'm now scheduled to work while we're on tour. We're going to be in California.
Yeah, you can remote it.
Yeah.
See, but that's another thing about today's society, which is nice because I do know people that do that. Like they just travel and they work from whatever, their van, their car, go to a hotel, they get it done and then do whatever they want. That's remarkable, but it's like a fear a little bit. It's like, whoa, bro, I told you I'm not going to be here. Like when I schedule for work, the girl, Christina, we work with, Absolute joy. I've requested some of the most craziest shifts, things, coming late for the dumbest excuses, but she makes it work. So I have an appreciation. So I go like, hey, if you need anything, John, I need you. Hey, I'm already here. You know, oh shit, I got to be here for 12 hours. All right, you know, let's do it. So you know what I mean? It's truly fascinating. So out of this tour, everybody individually, what place are you looking forward to going the most? Even if you don't have time to explore the sites, what's a place on the list you're like, oh, goddamn, I'm gonna be able to say I was there?
The Whiskey A Go Go. That is going to be something really cool to have. Not even just attended. My fiance and I went to LA a few years ago, so we were there before. But it's a difference of going there and actually playing there. That's going to be really cool because of all the legendary acts that played there before, and obviously who had lived right around the corner, walking distance from there. It'll be cool to see if there's any more remnants, because when we were there, it was at nighttime, so we'll see if there's any more destruction that has remained from those many, many years ago. And for those that are uncertain of what I'm talking about, that was where the Motley Crue house was, as well as Guns N' Roses and Wasp.
Nice.
At various different times. But aside from the whiskey, honestly, I'm looking forward to playing everywhere. It's really going to be cool to see every town and what they all have to offer individually. And it's going to be fun to meet new people and to reconnect with people we've already met. Just have a great time seeing America and seeing some of the sites that America has to offer as well. We have some little day trips planned, this and the other thing as well. So it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of good times.
Yeah, for me personally, there's two places. The whiskey, that was on my bucket list just to go to. So we're playing there. Heck yeah. So the Whiskey A Go Go, that's by far and away the top for me. But second to that, and it's close just because I'm meeting up with a lot of people that I know but haven't been able to see, is the Austin date in Austin. Not Austin, Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Still, we're playing Austin too.
We're playing Austin too. It's going to be great too.
Yes.
No, great state of Texas. But no, at Fort Worth, we're having people that I know. I'm meeting up with people from Oklahoma, Fort Worth area, and it's going to be a great time because I haven't seen these guys well, one of them I've never seen. I've known them for 10 years. I've never seen the guy. He's a ghost.
COD buddies, man. COD buddies.
Yeah, COD buddy. But second is a guy who came up to Jersey just to go to a convention and say, hey, yo, what's up? So I'm going down to see him. He lives out in the Fort Worth area too. So it's going to be like, hey, let's go. So those are the two that I'm looking forward to the most. One for personal reasons, and one's a bucket list destination.
And Charles, you of course, man. You're now the superstar. Take the lead. Let me know where's your destination of choice. Where are you happy to go?
I'm gonna be happy to play everywhere to see everybody. It's gonna be nice to see the United States. I was also happy about the really looking forward to playing the whiskey as well. Another one is a good friend of mine lives in Arizona, so I'll be happy to play out there. And there's another date, one of the dates that we're playing, the Garden Grove date in California. Another really good friend of mine that I grew up with, who I haven't seen in like maybe 10 years or so, is going to be there. So, I mean, even just to reconnect with him that's going to be a really great, in addition to meeting new people, it's going to be great to reconnect with other people. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, and Chicago.
Oh yeah,
we got a ton of friends out in the Chicago area, so it's gonna be great to see them too.
But also keep an eye on our Instagram and Facebook pages, because we're going to be posting some of our adventures and side trips that we're going to be doing. So don't want to reveal too much yet, but we have some cool things planned, and it's going to be a fun tour.
Gentlemen, the most important question I always ask is, what's the best piece of advice someone's given you? Not something you made up, not something you saw on TV, but someone close to you or even a random stranger said it. It could have been as serious as like, just remember, be careful with women and money. Or it could have been like, bro, don't buy the damn tour bus, rent that, What is something somebody's told you? And I want everybody to say it, that they said it, it stuck with you, and it resonates. It's always there in the back of your mind.
My grandmother, mind your P's and Q's. That's simple. Just, please, thank you. Have a good day. I'd say it being polite to people goes a long way.
it's definitely the best advice I got so far is like, just remember, like, there's gonna be good days and bad days, but not a lot of people get the chance to do what we're doing. So just keep that in mind when it gets hard. Is that like, okay, look, you're getting to do something that a lot of people wish they could do.
Yeah, that's a never give up on your dreams.
Yes.
And my motto personally has always been life is for living, and that's what we need to do. And we only have one chance. We're not here for very long, to be quite honest, unfortunately. And we need to do what we can, maximize what we can while we can. And for us, this is maximizing everything. Being able to not only have this opportunity to perform at all these venues across the country, but to see all these places across the country. I mean, for example, the Grand Canyon one year might get filled in naturally. We don't know, because it is a modern marvel and all that good stuff, or one of the eighth wonders of the world, rather. And we don't know what's going to happen with evolution, with time and everything. We might have one opportunity to get out there and see it. So let's take advantage while we have the chance.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Midnite Hellion. I'll never forget hanging out with these guys, playing with these guys, having my ass kicked by these guys because of such great music. Guys, Kingdom Immortal is out now, and don't forget, check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Facebook. They're coming and touring with Anvil to a city near you. Check them out. As always, be smart, be mindful, and rock on. God bless you guys. Until next time, Ninja out. All right, how about now?
Nah, dude.
Seriously? I mean, I just did all this.
No.
No.
All this tapping. I mean, who comes up with stuff like this?
Dude, it was a good attempt.
Come on, that's gotta work. I mean, come on, think about it, guys. I could do this. Hell, you can mute me and I'd still look good. Like, they would never know.
We love you. We love your company. You're awesome.
How
Great
about
dude.
this year?
How? Next album. We'll see. We'll see you after the tour, all right?
Come on, me and you, Rick. Like, come on, Rick. Say, Rick, say something. Tell him I should do this. Come on, Rick. Ah, shit, he left.
Woo, baby, you listen to John the Ninja. All your ears are about to go on a vacation. John the Ninja's got what you need.